let's get into this housekeeping. As always, make sure you go follow us on Instagram at the Self-Med Pod. Make sure you subscribe and leave a review wherever you are listening to this at, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google. I already said Google.
Double up on the Google.
Yeah, anywhere. We're everywhere. You can listen to us everywhere. Just make sure you subscribe and leave a review wherever you're listening to this. Also, make sure you go check out our over-the-counter episodes. Those are going to come out every single Thursday. On those episodes, we're going to be doing our listener engagement. So pulling up topics that y'all want to talk about. If y'all want to get any advice, if y'all want to call in, if you need to remain anonymous, you can definitely hit us in the DMs. But over-the-counter episodes are definitely coming every Thursday from now on. So make sure you go check those out on all the same DSPs as the regular episodes. So now you're getting 2 episodes a week. Deal with it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to the Self-Medicated Podcast for Monday, September 7th. Even though y'all not going to hear this on September 7th, but this is that podcast for September 7th. What it is, what it do. I am your host, as always, the Wayfarer, a.k.a. Quentin Quarantino, a.k.a. the Banter Boss, a.k.a. Jon Snow, because I know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh, it's lit. I love it. Here, as always, with the captain of the igloo, young, popular, and friendly, a.k.a. the box hunter, a.k.a. One Pop Papi, a.k.a. the bottom feeder. Damn, do you have a bottom feeder? Oh, you should get the bottom feeder clip.
Definitely not getting the bottom feeder clip. Getting those streams right
What did Meg say? Some the bottom feeder. Something I
Don't
can't
know.
remember. Let's see. This week's organic shout out. This one is a special one. This week's organic shout out goes to my homie, formerly known as the hardest working man in hospitality. But Ish, aka Sisive Bilal on Instagram. That's CYSIVEBILAL on IG. This man has been doing some videos on YouTube that are fucking hilarious. This man, if y'all know anything about Ish, he's a entertainer extraordinaire, and his YouTube videos are reflective of that.
Man.
So yeah, check out his YouTube, IshTube23, ISH Tube TUBE 23. Definitely some of the most funny random shit you can find on the internet. Make
Whatever
sure y'all go check out the homie.
Whatever you're expecting, you're not gonna expect what you're gonna see on this. But I appreciate it because it's so unique, yet highly entertaining. And also, I don't know what's going on, but I really appreciate it. I feel like I've had some drugs after I watched it. But
yeah. I mean, it's built really for Adult Swim. It's like definitely built for some late night.
A one man Adult Swim.
Yeah.
I will watch that definitely on Adult Swim though.
Mm-hmm.
Get that man a deal.
Definitely. Shout out to Ish, man. Love you, bro. All right. Let's get into the episode for the week. How's your week been? What you get into this week?
Whew, man. Had some ups and had some downs.
Yeah?
Yeah, but overall,
I can relate.
You know what I'm saying? I'm alive, so I'm happy. I'm
good.
You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've definitely had some ups and downs this week, too. Most of mine were fairly harmless, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not so in other aspects.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been a roller coaster of a week, but I'm excited because I'm off work this week. So I took Labor Day week off. I'm excited to get a chance to just reset, man. Sometimes you just need to get away from that monotony of work.
The rat race.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
I can't wait to take my days off in October, man.
Yeah, are you taking the whole month off or what?
I could, but I get restless when I take more than like 3-4 days off. I feel like I need to be doing something.
I feel you on that.
You know what I'm saying? Especially now where a lot of what you can do is kind of restricted to being inside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I might go for the week and just do some random shit throughout the week because a couple of the homies said they want to celebrate my birthday with me, so I might do some random shit with a couple of my friends.
Turn up. You about to be old as shit, bro. You what, 34?
About to be Jesus' age, nigga.
God damn.
I'm about to be 33.
33.
Niggas always trying to add
Pippin.
years on. Exactly.
Getting your Pippin on.
Jesus Pippin.
That's a J name. You could definitely name your kid that if you ever
New Instagram name.
Jesus Pippin.
Two legends.
I've been at this point everybody knows that I'm engaged, and the Haitian sensation and I have been kind of knocking off things off this checklist, right? Mm-hmm. And I have to say, this is some of the hardest shit that I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like niggas told you.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I have to thank you for preparing me, because I don't think I was ready for just how some of this shit was gonna go down in terms of the decisions to be made about the wedding.
I'm saying this like I'm in the process, but I've seen them from the outside. It seems like the things you would think would be simple turn into more of a debate or a discussion than what you would assume they would be.
Yeah, and I've said this a couple times, and this is the I guess source of why this is a difficult process, is because she's thought about this shit her entire life. Mm-hmm. I thought about it for like the last 30 days, right? So like, there's a whole bunch of shit that's just like regular, normal for her, and to me, it's like, why? Type shit. But what I can say, there's a healthy mix of things that I had no idea about, and I think are a good idea. Yeah. And me being able to say, yeah, some of the shit we just don't need to do. So yeah, man, it's a very interesting process. I've learned a lot about relationships, and I think low key being married already. Yeah, basically, man, I don't mean
being married already. But brother, you're in for another rude awakening.
Well, what I'm saying is, I feel like I'm starting to get prepared for some of the shit that I think and want just don't matter. It just simply put doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and that's a very interesting thing to try to come to terms with. If that makes I appreciate that. It's funny because it ain't like it has been carefully cultivated to get to this point now. I mean,
like, don't come natural.
Yeah, shit been wild. But it makes it all worth it. And sometimes that's the thing, man. I think that some people talk about segue kings. I think a lot of the reason that people get divorced is that, first of all, there's a ton of reasons why people get divorced. But I think that one of the reasons why people get divorced is that they feel like they can't do this anymore. And when I say can't do this anymore, I'm talking about in terms of that kind of alliance that we were just talking about in terms of the business sense and all of that no longer aligns with how you feel about the person. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people get divorced. And that was a real blanket way of saying that, like, shit be real for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, the other thing about like marriage and divorce is that half of these shits don't work.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing, and that's also very important. And then, you know, as a man, when you hear things like $20,000 a month in spousal support for emails and
for emails.
Phone calls, that type of shit becomes alarming.
What are you calling for $20,000 a month?
For real, you're not calling me.
She got your dad in jail or something.
Right. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about Dr. Dre and Nicole Young's divorce, right? And Nicole Young is wanting about $2 million a month. I get, Yeah, she wants about $2 million a month to cover her expenses from Dr. Dre. Now, before we get into this breakdown, I want to talk about the concept of spousal support. What are your thoughts? What are your views on spousal support? What the fuck?
I understand. It makes sense with the history of it makes sense why it exists. Why it's currently still done in the way that it is now makes no sense to me. So I learned that spousal support became a thing because back in the day, I believe like in the 50s and 60s, men would just leave their woman with the kids and it was just like dad's going to go get a pack of cigarettes and he never comes back. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, especially back in those days, women weren't working. Men were the sole breadwinners in the family. So once someone that is making all the money leaves and you've never had a job and you've acquired these only homemaking skills, you've never like been a whatever, it was a common job back then, they were just out on their ass. So like then they would be on a government assistance, right? So the government decided that it would be best that men are responsible for these women opposed to the government, which makes sense. It's you left this woman out. You didn't allow her to work, or her really working wasn't a popular thing. The history of it makes sense, but why it's still currently practiced today? Because now women are not frowned upon for getting jobs or having families and working. So it doesn't really make much sense to me, especially if you are getting divorce monies.
Yeah. The other element now that I think is different than the times you were talking about is the ability to make money that women had then versus now, regardless of the job, quote unquote. Right? So, for example, Nicole Young, who is Dr. Dre's wife or ex-wife, is not incapable of making money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she's a lawyer or had a law degree. I don't know if she's still practicing.
Well, not only that. So not only is she very clearly a smart, independent woman, she also is Dr. Dre's ex-wife. So to sit up here and act like there's no cachet or money to be made from that simple fact at all is, I think, something that should be thought about. Like the fact that she can make money going interviews about why they're getting divorced, period. Yeah. Right? Like that's not nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not nothing. And then also, another thing that's important to bring up is the role that a wife plays. All right. I think a lot of people make the argument that, building a home, raising children, all of these things are full-time jobs in and of themselves, which I think there's a very strong argument to be made for. But I also think that there's the quality of life argument that honestly is just a slap in the face, if we're just going to be real. If you're going to talk about the quality of life argument, then why is unemployment a portion of what you actually make? Your quality of life ain't sacrificed based on that?
That's a good point. Very good point.
If quality of life is the important thing, then why are prisons the way that they are? Like, if we're gonna sit up here and put a value on the quality of life that you didn't even earn,
yeah,
right? Like, so not only as a society, but as a person in a relationship with you, I'm required to maintain your quality of life. Why? Your quality of life was a benefit of being with me.
Yeah.
Right? Shouldn't that be a factor
what do lawyers usually say? Like, you introduced her to this type of lifestyle, so that's on you.
No, it's on her.
No,
It's not on you.
It's
No,
on
that's
you.
just how I live. I'm sorry. Should I be a shittier person so that you like? What?
Yeah, stop making so much money.
But that I don't know. That delivers such a terrible message. So Nicole Young wants $10,000 for laundry and cleaning a month.
Man,
She wants $135,000 for clothes.
didn't she want some money for a house too? Like, or am I imagining somebody else? I want to say like 20 million or something crazy.
For a
like-
house.
Yeah, maybe I'm making shit up. But
$100,000 a month for a mortgage. That's probably the most reasonable expense here.
$100,000 mortgage? No,
That's the most reasonable expense on this list.
You can. Well, at least in Chicago, it's definitely different in California. But like for a little over $10,000 a month,
was $125,000. Period.
for a little over $10,000 a month, I think you can get like a close to $1 million house in Chicago.
I agree.
So
Of all of the
$10 million
things on
house,
this list,
basically.
all the things on this list, is that
You
not
cool
the
with
most-
paying that?
No, I'm not cool with paying any of these things. But this is probably the most reasonable thing on this list. She has $20,000 a month for telephone, cell phone, and email. How many cell phones you got, shorty?
Got 2 phones.
$125,000 for. See, and this is where shit starts to get fucking weird, and you got to explain some things to me. Why am I responsible for your charitable contributions? What kind of sense does that make?
This is why I can't be a judge. I would just start laughing once I looked at this sheet of expenses.
Like, ma'am,
she claims to have had.
ma'am, you're divorcing this man and you want him to cover your charitable expenses? What? Wait, what? That is $900,000 a month on entertainment. All right, so let's try to do some quick maths. 1, 2, 3.
That's crazy.
2 and 2.
How entertained do you need to be for that?
All right, so let's say you got
That's crazy.
let's say you got Disney Plus Premium.
You talk about poor people entertainment.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's say you got Premium Disney Plus. You got Premium Hulu, no commercials. Right? You got the Netflix where they still deliver you the DVDs if you want to. Right? You got HBO Max. You got HBO Go.
All right.
You got Showtime. You got Stars. You got Sling and YouTube TV. And fucking Comcast too, because you need that internet speed. And
She
might
got
as well
the
upgrade to the
Comcast
highest
package
internet
niggas
speed.
never heard
Matter of
of.
fact, fuck it. Let me get the business highest account
In your house.
in my house. In my new, freshly divorced house where it's just me and maybe my kids sometimes.
Kids are grown.
Yeah, so it's just me and whoever. I'm
And our
fucking
new
on at the
boyfriend.
time. Right.
Woo. I need to be that nigga.
Man. And then let's say I also, every other day I need to go see live entertainment. That's just the lifestyle I'm used to. Dr. Dre is an artist.
I still
goes
don't
to
think
concerts.
you're not thinking rich enough yet, man.
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Talk about entertainment, right? You know what? I'm used to having privately screened movies, and that new Tenet just came out.
Not rich enough.
That new Tenet just came out. That 007 coming out soon. Motherfucking, I need these private screenings. Let's say every week there's a new private screen, and I'll probably have the stars of that movie that is premiering at the crib watching it with me, first screening. So I'll probably need to pay a little money for them. The meals, food, that's entertainment, right?
It is.
That's considered an
I
expense.
would assume so. Because it's not specified on there. Let's say it's on there and they just didn't put it. They just put the ridiculous things.
Have I gotten to
assume.
$900,000 a month yet?
Not even close.
Not even close. So what the fuck?
You're not thinking rich enough, man.
What are we talking about?
See,
Yacht rides?
you don't know
Daily
that.
yacht
See,
rides?
you have to, in order to understand how rich you need to be to have that type of expense, you need to go into the mind of a Tyrese, aka Black Ty.
Okay.
So this man has a Benihana's in his backyard. So in order to run a restaurant, that's not cheap when you have no client base. Like, you're the only client. So I'm going to assume that's a few tens of thousands of dollars a month right there. I'm not paying to go to the concert. I'm paying to bring the concert to me. So my kids, they like the baby. What's the baby cost for a performance? $500,000. Let's do it. $500,000. Invite my younger friends and family on and watch him enjoy himself. We're gonna need some champagne to go with the food, liquor. You got to stock the bar at the restaurant. We got to buy the food for the restaurant because after we watch this performance, we're gonna want to eat, and everything's gonna be takeout that I'm not eating in my restaurant. So.
Yeah, some of those things though, as a celebrity, those are expenses.
Then you got to pay for the trips.
Yeah,
the traveling.
But that's not entertainment. That's business.
The PJ? Oh, I'm taking the PJ to go. Now I'm going to watch a performance in Europe. I'm taking the PJ. That's $50,000. Do that a couple of times. I think you can add it up, but you're going to have to live such a busy, lavish lifestyle. Most people couldn't comprehend it.
I am not paying to entertain.
But you are, Dr. Dre. But you are.
This nigga's not going to have to pay this shit.
Okay. He's probably not going to have to pay that amount, but he's going to have to pay some. This is California.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to pay
no doubt about it.
Yeah. $60,000 a month on education, tuition, and living expenses. She got student loans or something?
That ain't even student loans, nigga. That's like paying for a year of college once a month at a very established university.
What are we talking about? Whose education is this?
She just sending random niggas
This
to
is
school.
spousal support. This ain't even child support. Whose education are you talking about, bitch? I gotta pay for your doctorate now?
I would love to see that. Like, I wonder how detailed these things get. Like, do they literally?
I need a line item. I need to know how much.
Doctorate is free a lot of times, so that's.
I need to know how much your meal plan is, bitch.
Like,
what?
I know this. You know some bullshit
in
going
the
on.
dorms. Like, what are you talking about? You own a dorm
nigga,
now?
Right, I was gonna say she
gotta
bought
buy
the
a
dorm
and put your name on them. Like, what do we like? Some of these dollar amounts are just absolutely insane. I don't understand where this comes from, but I do know where it comes from because she know how much money this nigga really got, and the government don't.
That's a fact.
So that's where these numbers are coming from. Yeah, that's where these numbers are coming from. She know exactly how much money this nigga got, and he could probably barely afford that, but because they're getting divorced and they're bitter, she's like, he can definitely afford this. He might be fucked up, but he could for sure. Yeah. I know he could afford this.
When you bitter, you try to squeeze the juice out of a goddamn rock.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
That's exactly probably what she's doing.
That shit is wild. This is very interesting because I wanted to give Summer Walker 2 woke for the week this week for reacting to some of this shit. And Future's baby mamas that's been like trying to hit him. She thought
she
head.
did a fast one.
Boy,
just like no.
I wanted to give Summer Walker 2 woke for the week for her talking about once again situations that she just don't have no.
What'd she say?
Well,
I didn't see that.
She was basically saying that what's her name? Eliza Rain and like Nicole Young are just, they doing too much. Like, how can you expect this from a man and all of this? But it's just weird coming from her because she's also kind of been in all of these situations that she be talking shit about.
Okay, I'd be seeing it. Like, I think I stopped following her, but that's probably why I didn't see it. But I feel like she's always one of them women talking about like, I don't need a man to do this. I can do it for myself, but I also want a man to do this for me. But I'm gonna act like I can do it for myself. Yeah,
you should check out some of her posts from today.
I can't.
Well, just check out the Shade Room. They'll tell you.
I cannot do it.
So yeah, man. Shout out to Dr. Dre. Shout out. Hey, didn't they have a prenup though? Didn't Shorty?
I feel like that's yet to be
seen. Some whole other shit.
We got to see how that works out because they said he did, then they said he lied about getting rid of it. Then she said she signed it under duress. So who the fuck knows?
Let's continue on the relationship subjects and talk about your homie Brad Pitt.
My nigga
Brad Pitt.
B-Rad.
B-Rad. All right, so break this down for me. I don't know the names of the people involved.
Nigga, me either.
except for Brad. But I know that Brad Pitt, actor extraordinaire, heartthrob, mainstream heartthrob, is dating a younger woman, a younger married woman.
This nigga been doing this shit for a minute now that I think about it. Because he was, back in the day, he was fucking Robin Givens when she was married to Mike Tyson, which is a very dangerous game to play.
Why would you do that?
So,
That reminds me of... Never mind. That's
wild boy
yeah,
for that one.
That's some wild.
This is prime Mike Tyson. This is not like Mike Tyson now.
Saying washed Mike Tyson.
This is prime, like coked up Mike.
Right. Crazy Mike.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So Brad Pitt is currently dating a younger, like a significantly younger married woman. This is a woman married to another man.
Yes.
Who's also like rich.
And I think like 70.
And old and older.
She has a type.
And apparently those two are in an open relationship, and Brad Pitt is openly smashing Buddy's wife. And so this, I guess, is an example of what like today we would call these like progressive relationships.
Sure.
But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this entanglement, situationship, arrangement that they have going on. Because, I want to hear your thoughts because mine are very, very simple.
I mean, they're simple because, like, just do whatever the fuck you want to do. If the husband's cool with it and it's working for the other two of them, like, why not? I guess the thing is, like, people had an issue with, one, he's dating someone so much younger than him, and I guess two, because he's still, like, in the process, I believe, of divorcing Angelina Jolie. And, like, I guess they see this as being scandalous, where I don't think it should be. It's like very common that older men like younger women and younger women like older men. So I don't know why people are like outraged necessarily about this. What are your thoughts as an older man dating a younger woman?
My thoughts are that we just talked about marriage and the concept of marriage, right? I think that in this particular situation, I think that their marriage is a business arrangement. And I think that they have an understanding that business and pleasure is not mutually exclusive. I don't think Buddy has any choice. Shorty that Brad Pitt is fucking, I don't think the husband has any fucking choice in this matter.
Because they set up the open arrangement, or
no, because he's 70 fucking years old. And I think that Shorty is gonna do what the fuck she wants to do, and it don't really have shit to do with him because he can't do anything about it.
I mean, he can.
What can he do? Divorce her so he gets half of her shit?
I don't know how things work because I believe they're based in New Orleans because the husband is a restaurateur,
right?
And they met in one of his restaurants, and I guess they've known each other for a minute.
Are they all three fucking each other, or is Brad just fucking the wife?
I mean, I don't know that about Brad Pitt's life, but as far as I know, he be fucking the women. So, and like, what kind of nigga wants a fucking 70-year-old? Like, I don't know about that one. I'm assuming it's just kind of wild. Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
That's a very particular fetish.
I wouldn't want to fuck 70-year-old me.
I wouldn't want to fuck a 70-year-old like woman that looks good. It just, I feel like your bones gonna break.
Ain't Halle Berry damn near 70?
She's 50.
50 something.
Yeah. I don't know any woman that's 70
that's
yeah. For like sexual attraction reasons.
No granny porn for you?
Nah. I'm gonna leave that to you, brother. I'm gonna leave that to you.
Granny porn might be the episode title. Oh shit. So yeah, the other thing that I think is interesting, man, is I never understand Like, I never understand people's judgment or evaluation of celebrity relationships, knowing that you're only going to get the information that they want you to have, and also knowing that as entertainers and people whose lifestyle and livelihood are based on their popularity are probably not going to do anything that's not popular, or if they do, then they're going to lie about it and hide it. So, like, in a situation where there's a swinging or open couple and there's another dude that they are in a relationship with, I mean, technically speaking, based on conceptually the arrangement that they have, why the fuck is this news? But because of society and because we're dealing with celebrities and because of all of these other different things, this is now like open for judgment from people who like can't even understand the concept in the first fucking place.
I think the judgment is more so about the age difference than the like setup of the relationships.
You think so?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Because, what I mean, from what I've read, that's what people seem upset about.
I wonder if that's like a beard for what they're really upset about, though.
I think it's people that are Brad Pitt's age that are either jealous that he can acquire a woman that age, or woman mad that he cannot, that he doesn't want to date someone his own age because that means they're out of the market. Like, even though they were probably never in the market, mentally that kind of tells them they're out of the market. And you know when niggas get mad like that, they start hating.
Yeah. Why are older men desirable, but older women are not?
Well, for one, the thing that tends to happen in society is women a lot of times are valued for their beauty, right? So as women get older, they start to lose some of those same physical attributes that they had when they were younger. Mm-hmm. And the thing that men are a lot of times desire for are their status and funds, right? So usually as you get older, you require more funds and your status gets higher. So this kind of has like a weird thing happening where women are going down the same time men are going up as far as desirability to the opposite sexes. So a lot of times younger women, especially like super attractive ones, they don't want to work. And they want somebody powerful that can take them places and introduce them to people and have money to do all this stuff. And where younger guys are like kind of what you just said, like you're not usually the most attracted to older women. And another thing my friend pointed out to me was that, well, actually a Lyft driver pointed out to me was he was like a guy in the 60s. This nigga was still playing rugby at Northwestern, which was kind of crazy to me.
Rugby,
super cool,
that's not even known.
Super cool guy. And right, it's not a contact. It's a contact sport. A 60-year-old should be playing. But he was saying that as you get older as a man, the things and the women you find attractive doesn't change, but you do. So if you're attracted to 24-year-olds, you're probably going to always be attracted to 24-year-olds even when you're 60.
Got it.
Whereas women, I feel like as they get older, younger men don't seem appealing because they're immature. They're not established, and those things. So that's kind of funny too, where the same thing kind of happens where the other person likes and the other person doesn't. They don't really intersect. And if they do intersect, it's at a very small like time frame.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. That is very interesting. I wonder what would happen if the names were changed to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh my God.
What would the reaction in the public be then?
Will gets his revenge.
Yep.
Or Will's dating a younger woman, taking advantage of her.
It's so weird. It's so weird. You think people, if Will and Jada were in an open relationship, which I think a lot of people suspect that they are, but I mean, ain't nobody them. if Will and Jada were in an open relationship and August Alsina was fucking Jada as part of their open relationship, and it was just a known thing, and it was presented in the same way that Brad Pitt, new divorcee, is fucking on this restaurateur's young wife. Do you think that the media coverage of these situations would be different?
Not at all. It's funny to me because I feel like a lot of times I see people saying that men in particular need to grow up and stop being so immature or childish. But when it comes to situations where they could potentially be the victim, it's on them. It's their fault for being a victim. So this is kind of funny how that works sometimes. Whereas a lot of times people say women develop faster or more mature than men when they're at that same age as men. But when they're in a similar situation, they're seen as a victim and not really being seen as like, oh, okay, she wanted to do this or that was her decision. She's not being taken advantage of. They both knew what they were getting into.
Isn't it also interesting that, like, when, like, because women mature, like, quote unquote, these are just
right.
Women mature faster, then it makes sense that they would want to be with older men.
Yeah.
However, we're also going to talk about how older men take advantage of and exploit younger women, so that we can't even say that that's an actual true feeling that folks have. They may just be being manipulated into that thought process. But when it's a man who may feel like he wants to, like it just don't line up, because I'm not even talking about gender anymore. I'm talking about needs as human beings. And for some reason, for some folks, you can understand the needs that they may have, but for others, it don't make sense to have those type of needs at those same stages. Like, that shit don't make no sense to me, right? Like, if you're a young man dating an older woman, you're not, like, society doesn't see that as a young man wanting security and stability and being with someone who is mature on their level and can that's not how that's looked at. But with a woman, it is
still getting a groove back.
Exactly. I wonder why that is, though.
I don't know.
Where does that come from?
I don't fucking know.
A lot of the like toxic things that are toxic in society, or specifically like patriarchy, I can look at those things and be like, I see where that came from. I see why that's a thing. But this shit don't make no sense. Like, I don't get the benefit, right, of any one person. It doesn't actually benefit anybody for society's perception to be this way of dating. Like, it doesn't, like, who does it work for?
Nobody.
Nobody's winning out of this. Right. Nobody's getting the win out of this. Damn. People's doing group FaceTimes and shit.
Not gonna get in on that?
Nah, I think this is your group thread, isn't it?
Oh,
Niggas is
everybody don't got a iPhone.
Oh, well.
Mainly me.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Brad Pitt. Let's see. I want to talk about Jessica Krug really quickly. Jessica Krug is an associate professor of history at George Washington University, also known as 2020's Rachel Dolezal. So, I guess just to be succinct, this is another white woman who has been pretending to be various types of blacks. The reason? Do we know the reason?
No. I don't remember. It was a bunch of white nonsense, to be honest with you, so I didn't try to remember. I think I'm going to assume, since she was a professor, I'm just pulling this out my ass, that she might have taught some kind of African American studies.
Yep.
Is that true?
Yep.
Man, look at them. That boy's smart. So I'm assuming in order to like make herself fit into those spaces and seem to have more credibility, she gave herself those attributes in that background.
She attributes this problems with identity as a mental health issue.
Oh, classic.
Yep. She says mental health issues likely explain why I assumed a false identity initially as a youth and why I continued and developed it for so long.
Like, what exactly identity issues? Okay, but like,
It's like body dysmorphia, right?
no,
Why is it not?
because she knew what she was doing was wrong,
But why is it wrong though?
because she's just not who she claims to be, right?
Okay, so if you
Body
are,
dysmorphia
so
is
if you're a person who feels like, yo, I'm way overweight, right?
Yep, I'm listening.
Is it wrong to feel like you're way overweight? No, that in and of itself is not wrong.
It is if you're not way overweight.
How do I explain this? I guess that is not harmful. It's not wrong to anyone but you. As opposed to pretending to be a different race that could be
Oh, you switched the argument. Okay.
harmful to others.
I feel like I'm going to end up arguing something that I don't disagree with. So I'm not going to. Like, I don't. The argument switched. I don't know who would be harmful to outside of herself as well in that situation.
And especially if this is a person that is, I mean, you can't call them an ally.
But did you hear the audio of her talking?
No.
That shit was hilarious. I'm sorry, side note.
What did she say?
Like, she doesn't look black at all.
She doesn't. That part I do know.
Like, the lips give it away instantly. But it sounded like a white person doing an impression of what they think black people sound like.
I also want to call out all these white New Yorkers who waited 4 hours with us to be able to speak and that did not yield their time to black and brown indigenous New Yorkers who thought that their sense of, I thought cops was here to protect us, but I guess they're not. Boy, you think that this sort of like shock and empathy thing is the move. Oh, so a couple of things. You was talking about, Chair, you was talking about moving against the gang database. What's up with that? Because last I checked, that's still operating. Last I checked, that's still up. You talk about us to show up, been shown up in all these neighborhood council meetings trying to fight gentrification.
The reason why this is different than the Rachel Dolezal situation is that I feel like Rachel Dolezal has a lot more reason to be confused about her race.
Does she?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but like, yeah, Rachel was low key raised with black people. She was adopted by black people. She like, there's a lot, but I'm not excusing any of the things that she's done, but she's not using the excuse of mental health and has a lot more reasons that make sense than Jessica Krug does.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. Like, I don't think that there's anything really black at all about Jessica Krug's experience growing up. And I think that Rachel Dolezal actually low-key has had elements of a black experience growing up, if that makes sense. That's a big difference.
That makes a lot of sense. I guess my question is did this Krug woman, did she come out to say these things because she was discovered as being an imposter? Or did she just come out to say these things because she got tired of living a lie, or
That's another element of this that is fucking weird because Rachel Dolezal got exposed.
Yeah, she got exposed. Blew that bitch up.
Krug volunteered all of this information. She just basically.
This is why I don't think it's mental health. She just wanted some attention.
She just wanted some attention.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, her studies have focused on African American history, Latin America.
Oh yeah, she did say she was like
anti-gentrification.
Afro-Latina.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was Afro-Latina at one point.
Oh man, I wish I could be different types of blacks.
Jess La Bombalera was one of her aliases. Bro, shorty from whole ass Kansas, dead ass. So that's the other interesting thing is like for someone to be like supposedly fighting the good fight, why are you having this conversation? Why do you need this attention specifically? Like that shit don't make no sense.
She's like, I finally got tenure. I'm about to tell these niggas
Right.
who I am.
And I was about to say that's the other element of white supremacy, white privilege. That shorty feels so comfortable that she could just come out and say, "Hey, yo, I got this whole. I have books that were finalists for Frederick Douglass prizes and Harriet Tubman prizes and all of this shit." But I'm about to just come out here and tell y'all I've been acting a fool. I've been lying this whole time. That's white privilege in and of itself. To be able to just expose yourself as a fraud.
Choose yours on white privilege to be black.
That man.
That's meta.
That's some shit right there. Shout out to Jessica Krug, fucking bitch. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Have you been watching? You still not watching, aren't you?
Absolutely not.
I
do know my Lakers lost that first game though. That was kind of shocking.
I have been glued every day at 5:30 p.m. to all of the games. The Lakers are soft, bro. The Lakers are fucking soft. There's no other way to get around it. The Lakers, so we're playing Houston right now. Mm-hmm. Houston's tallest player in their starting lineup is 6'5".
Who is PJ Tucker, right?
PJ Tucker. He's their fucking center. And we're just getting bullied. Like, we don't have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't have a bunch of just big niggas on the court. And there's no other way to put it than the Lakers are soft, man. And I have real big concerns about them being able to beat anybody who plays physically. Now, if Denver fucks around and is able to beat the Clippers, which I don't think is going to happen, they play physical. Mm-hmm. Right? The Lakers ain't gonna be able to do nothing with that. They play too physical. They're just too soft. There's too much finesse. If the Clippers will beat the Lakers in a 7-game series, Lakers are too soft.
That depends if playoff P is out there.
No, it don't.
How many?
It depends on if Patrick Beverly and Montrezl Harrell is on the court. That's
so,
what it depends.
I got a question for you. Do you think the Mavericks are soft?
Dallas Mavericks, yes, they are.
So why did they take LA to 7 games, right?
Because their skill level is not the same.
So softness doesn't necessarily mean, because I will say the Lakers are more talented.
I agree, but they're just as soft.
Yeah, so like, I'm curious how that can work out. So yeah, but also playoff P wasn't really doing his thing either because he couldn't guard Luka.
How did he get that name?
He's like you. He just give himself nicknames. He couldn't guard Luka to save his life. Though. Yeah.
I mean, LeBron crowned himself as the king. Yeah. That one stuck.
I know y'all niggas don't know how nicknames work in 2020. But it's a different podcast.
Who called him Playoff P, though?
He did.
He started that?
Yes.
But how, though? He ain't even win nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, your biggest accomplishment is beating an injured Derrick Rose in the playoffs. Like, how did you get that nickname? He didn't beat anyone else other than Derrick Rose. Questions. In the East, nigga, you was playing below 500 teams for the first 2 rounds of your playoffs. Like, I went
to one of those games, actually. I think it was game 3 or 4.
Derrick Rose probably showed out or got hurt. One of the
I
two.
don't remember. Yeah, who knows?
It was one of the two.
Got first level seats too.
Oh, that's nice. I miss going to sports events, though. I do miss going to sports events. Anyway, yeah, man, the Lakers are soft. I don't know if we have to play the Clippers, if we have to play even Denver. I don't know how it's gonna shake up.
Before I get off of this subject, I need to apologize. I did not respect the Heat.
Oh, I tried to tell you.
Didn't respect them niggas.
I think it's gonna still be a 6 or 7 game series, but I think the Heat are gonna win.
Didn't they play today?
Yep. No, they played yesterday.
Okay.
The Bucks won in overtime
Without Giannis. That's interesting.
That's a passion win.
Yeah, I don't know if
they can't sustain.
Because like it's weird in the bubble because there's no home or away advantage. So like it's interesting to see teams blowing you out all these weeks and all these games, and you would assume like, oh, you're going back to your home arena, you'll play better, but none of that is going on. So.
The other thing too about the Milwaukee and Miami thing, it's just a bad matchup in general in terms of personnel. Yeah. I think the Heat was the only team that had a winning record against the Bucks all year long. So like they've just been they just don't match up well against Miami.
It makes sense. And they don't have a lot of perimeter defenders, and the Heat have a lot of 3-point shooters.
All they do is shoot threes.
Duncan Hines.
And also, the other thing about Miami is they're fucking physical. They are physical. They are not the greatest defensive team, but they will body your ass up. You know what I'm saying? They will they're not just gonna let you just come to the cup. Like that's not gonna happen. That's
How do you think they would pair against the Heat? The Rockets.
I think that they are like mirror images of each other, right? They're like the Wario versions of each other. Like the Heat is the Wario version of the Rockets. Yeah, they're the like dirtier, grimier version of the Rockets. That would be I wouldn't be mad at that for a finals.
The game would just be all threes.
It'd be all threes and like all flagrant fouls. It's like all technical foul shots and all threes. That's all that would be happening. Yeah, man. I don't know. The NBA playoffs are shaking up to be very, very entertaining. The whole bubble concept is very, very interesting. The no home court advantage. Some of the people who are turning out to be stars. The other thing that's really important too is that I feel like the emotion is elevated in these games because they're not really playing for basketball right now. If that makes sense. That's wild, right?
Niggas is playing for their freedom.
As like hilarious as a statement that is, I do think that having had some homies who have played basketball, like ball is life ass niggas, I do think they have that mentality that they're playing for their freedom.
I meant like
dead ass.
If you lose, you get to go home. If you win, you don't.
Oh, that's what I meant. So what I meant is, I think so.
Life outside the world is more proper term, I guess.
That's probably a realer element than what I was actually talking about. Because some of these niggas ready to go home. For real.
Like, I think the niggas on the Bucks are ready to go home.
Yes, some niggas is trying to go home, bro.
It's like we at least got to win one.
Yeah, we just can't get embarrassed out this bitch. Yeah, some of them niggas is ready to go home. I think OKC was ready to go home.
Chris Paul wasn't, but I can see
Chris
the rest
Paul
of them.
wasn't.
Yeah, got a bunch of young boys on there. Yeah, Chris Paul won that.
Yeah, he wanted that W. He wanted to be James Harden so bad, boy. He wanted to be him so bad.
Told y'all, motherfuckers.
Exactly. Yeah. But I also think that some niggas have this, especially some of the younger players, like Jaylen Brown really stands out to me, where they feel like they're literally Jamal Murray. I feel like some of these younger folks literally feel like they're playing for their freedom. I feel like they feel like, as young superstars in the league, they're still low key trying to. We gotta remember how young these niggas are, bro. These are, man. Listen, some of the just shit that they're able to take at the age that they are, with the level of fame that they have, should be really, really fucking commended, man. But I say all of that to say that some of these folks feel like They're literally playing for their freedom. They don't know shit else. They know what their homies are going through. They know what life is like for everybody in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that they have a platform and they can really ball. And they're in the bubble.
Yeah.
And so they know, like, you know what I'm saying? They it may be a little misguided or a little bit blown up, but they may have the perception that them balling right now is some of the most important shit happening in the world. So like, and really truly feel that way, like for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so yeah, so the Jamal Murrays, for example, is the type of folks I'm talking about. I'm looking at them and I'm watching them like perform and do this entertainment thing, but then I'm also looking at the way that they're going about it and the why.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have this larger purpose, as you know, realistic or not as they may be, but they have that and they feel that, and that's why they're playing and balling out the way that they are. That shit is so fucking dope to me, and just to watch that in terms of just like real humans and people trying to go out here and play a game and entertain, but also like be on some real shit. And specifically, it's the young niggas, it's the young motherfuckers. Yeah, I don't know. It's inspiring. These playoffs are definitely, the NBA playoffs specifically, is dope, man. I'll also say this. I feel like they have also set the bar very high for the NFL season.
Yeah, this season's going to be interesting, man.
First of all, let me just say this. I'm going to make a quick prediction. NFL season is not going to be completed.
I was talking to my homie about this yesterday. He had some conspiracy theories. He said that because the NFL owners could give a fuck less, that people were going to be positive and they're still going to play. Just kind of how they do on injury reports.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a nigga has an injury where he probably shouldn't be playing, and he doesn't tell people how he feels or lets know the severity of the injury because he wants to get paid and wants to play.
Yeah.
He says he thinks a lot of that is going to go on, and not going to test as many people as they should. And I think he said that the tests are voluntary. I think that's what he said. So like, I was like, that if that's the case, that makes a lot of sense.
So there's a couple of reasons why I don't think the NBA or the NFL season is going to work out. Number one, there's too many players. It's 50-some people on each team. It's 32 teams. It's too many people. Number two, NFL contracts are not guaranteed. There's just way too much room for lies about your health.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that some of these tests may be voluntary. That just opens it up even more to that. The other thing is that, with the NBA, they let players opt in or opt out, like with no penalty. So if you decided not to come to the bubble, no harm, no foul, we'll see you next year when shit get regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no penalty for that. I think that in the NFL, the people who can afford to not play, which would be the superstars, which in the NFL, there's a small amount of them, right? I think that just the quality of football based on the people who can afford and cannot afford to be there is going to be sacrificed. All of that to say, I just don't think that the NFL season as is probably currently expected to happen is going to happen. It's probably going to have to be a shortened season. It's probably going to have to be streamlined rules or some shit.
You need to do this 7-on-7, man.
That's what I was getting to. Now, if you want to do a 7-on-7 tournament style NBA, that NFL season, that would be lit as fuck. I would definitely watch that. But like, man, don't nobody give a fuck what the left guard is doing right now.
Exactly, just
Like,
man-on-man coverage.
Yeah,
Quarterback.
just make it entertaining.
Throwing it down the field, yeah.
Just make it entertaining.
That's just gonna seem like blitz football. Well,
And
no
low-key,
tackling, but
that's probably what the NFL is moving towards anyway. with all of this non-contact shit. Like, if it's not going to be flag or arena football,
I never thought about that. That makes sense.
they're probably going to move to 7-on-7.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Like, they're literally trying as hard as possible to get rid of the kickoff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're going to move to 7-on-7 eventually. The NFL, professional football is going to be 7-on-7 one day. Mark my words, you heard it here first. As always, I am your host, the Wayfarer, a.k.a. Quentin Quarantino, a.k.a. the Banter Boss, a.k.a. Jon Snow, because I know absolutely nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
It's facts. Here, as always, with the captain of the Igloo, young, popular, and friendly, a.k.a. the Box Hunter, a.k.a. One Pop Papi, a.k.a. the Bottom Feeder. Yeah, and as always, this is a self-medicated podcast for Monday, September 7th. Check us out. You know what it is. We out here. We out.